Hi, this is Chris Buberg from Buberg Law. Wanted to talk to you today, and the topic is a witness saves the day. And the reason that I say that is because I had a trial this morning in Chesterfield General District Court, and it was a typical, what you might call a he said, she said case involving a red light and a green light. My client was turning left, and she had a green arrow. The defendant, the person who was responsible for the accident, said that he had a green light as well, and that he went through the intersection and there was nothing stopping him. He entered in a green light and he had no problem. Fortunately for us, we had a witness, and we had that witness under subpoena. And the witness appeared, and the witness testified that, in fact, his car was there and that the defendant had been stopped behind him and that the defendant entered the intersection when the defendant had a red light. And that was key for us. And the judge said in his opinion that that was key for us, that that witness was there and that witness was unbiased. The judge pointed out, you have one person who thinks the other person is at fault. Both of those people, my client and the defendant, have a motivation in the case. My client wants to be compensated for her injuries, and the defendant wants to escape liability. In this case, the defendant's plan was to come in and testify that there was no problem there and that he was entering through a green light. And at that point, more than likely, the judge would have been, frustrated and not knowing what to do, because he has one person and then he has another person and he has to make a credibility determination. And it's difficult to say one person's lying and one person's telling the truth. But when you have a neutral observer, when you have a third party who's uninterested in the case, that can save the day. So why am I talking to you about this? It's not just to brag about the success of our case. It's to thank that witness and to make everybody who hears this think about stopping and helping someone if you see an accident. If you see an accident, usually the police have arrived by the time you get there, or maybe they're on the way. And a lot of people think, well, the police have got this under control. The police will prepare a report. The police will charge whoever is responsible for the accident, and they don't really need my help. Well, you have to think about that a step further, because you probably watched or seen a movie or a television show where there's an objection made for hearsay. And what hearsay means is that a person is testifying about something about which they don't have firsthand knowledge, and that information is excluded. So when a police officer comes to an accident after the fact, the only thing that he could testify to in court is statements that he takes from other individuals who actually saw it, and maybe what he's able to find or photos he takes of the position of the cars or the debris field to show where the accident happened. But the officer is not able to give his opinion, and whether or not a ticket was granted in the case or issued in the case is not necessarily admissible. So if you see an accident, stay around, give your name to the police officer. That's what happened in our case, and it made all the difference. This person stayed around. He approached the police officer. He said, this is what I saw, and this is who I believe was at fault. This is how it happened. And if we hadn't had that, there's a good chance that the judge would have said, well, it's a he said, she said. And in a civil case, you've got to bear the burden of the preponderance of the evidence. That means it has to be more than 50% likely that what my client is saying the other person did actually happened. So with a situation where both parties are completely opposed, we might not have gotten over that without the help of a fantastic witness. So clearly, I want to thank him and thank the judge for giving us a fair shake in this case, and obviously a result that we were pleased with. And as usual, I say to all of my clients, never give a recorded statement.